will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
So, hello friends. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. We have it today here as follows: is how to choose the right EB1A criteria. Let me start again. Yes, how to choose the right EB1A criteria, and we have prepared this slideshow for you guys. It is a framework to apply effectively for your EB1A green card. So I will go everything step by step and run this slideshow for you. Oh, that's a photograph opposite the Supreme Court where we were awarded the license to serve as an ABS. Now, I think most aspirant begins with this misconceived or wrong question as we would start. Which three criteria can I meet? This question turns EB1A into a scavenger hunt. It's not a strategy. Understand? Strong applicants, the right way, ask a completely different questions. That what story does my career tell, and why criteria prove, and which criteria prove that the story most credibility. This is the way how we should begin our, kind of a question to first question to begin with at the first place itself actually. Okay. Now, what do you mean by scattered, kind of an evidence here? Is not when we say that it is not a scavenger hunt. What do we mean by that? There is a very disconnect between each of the criterias. An award here, an article there, a membership somewhere, a salary number. Even if it is $1 million, we have seen that there are people who even may get $1 million salary, but still don't even get their salary criteria approved, and hope that officer assembles it into a very coherent story and helps them to become extraordinary. This doesn't mean. And what do you mean by a coherent career story? It basically means that there is one field of distinction, one contribution arc, evidence that reinforces the same conclusion from multiple angles. That's the correct spirit of success. Now comes a very interesting question from the USCIS officer's lens. After having studied over 1,000 cases, after meeting at least 100 EB1 achievers, 50 to 60 are from our own Next League program, what USCIS is really evaluating, and after interacting with a couple of former USCIS officers also, is what USCIS is really evaluating is extraordinary ability, and this is established by virtue of sustained acclaim, top of the field, totality of evidence, and final merits. Now, please understand, you have heard these words, sustained acclaim, totality, and final merit. These are not the same thing. We will go about it in a more granular detail a bit later, but these are different words. So, extraordinary ability when it comes to your EB1A is manifested by these 4 parameters. Just keep that thing in mind. Now, there are certain myths and certain realities I want to talk about EB1A. Now, the common myth that hurt the strong applicants also. And what do you mean by strong applicants? That who are otherwise ready for EB1A, they have everything, all the profile needed for becoming successful. That if I meet the 3 out of 10 criteria, I should be approved. That's the way they think. And 3 criteria are just the entry examination, like in, when you apply for a civil services, there is prelim, there is mains. Remember, your 3 criteria are only like your prelims, and mains is the final merit determination, sustained acclaim, and totality. Now, this is how it is. By fulfilling 3 criteria, you don't get your EB1A. The 3-part EB1A reality is USCIS is you don't get. So one has to visualize that when one is applying for EB1A, one is effectively, talking to President Trump and saying that, look, sir, this is my field of endeavor. I fulfill the criteria, and this is how the US will benefit out of me. I'm in the top of my field of expertise. That is a way how, the entire field of expertise is defined when it comes to EB1A, and this is the way how EB1A is done. Benefit to the US and continuity are very important factors which many people, kind of miss out what we have seen. There is another second myth that hurts against strong applicants and they don't even apply. And this creates a kind of an imposter syndrome for a lot of people, is that EB1A is only for academicians and with publications. Oh, I need to have citations. I need to have large number of publications. No, it is not. It is the profundity of your expertise that matters. It is the profundity of the work that what you have done that matter, be in any field of expertise. Now, I always like to say that hypothetically, let's say if Ratan Tata, Mr. Narayan Murthy were to apply for EB1A, there would be very limited citations for them actually here. There would be very scientific journals would, very few of them may carry their names as authors or in terms of citations. You don't need that actually there. Okay. Now, there is a third myth. I have also seen people with even 8 criterias, getting approved and still getting rejected. 5 criteria getting approved and still getting rejected. People believe that more criteria means a stronger case. It does not work. The quality, I mean, there is a word that it is a evidence standard has to have a quality over quantity. That's the USCIS tonality and the language that it takes. So more criteria does not mean a stronger case, because weak criteria can weaken your entire story. Please understand that. Don't try to focus on optimum number of criteria. Go by the strength of each of the criteria that you are considering. We will talk more about this as things would proceed. Because when it comes to your evidence standards, USCIS is asking every piece of evidence based on 3 things: authenticity, credibility, and the probative value. What does it mean? Let us say, for example, let me illustrate this by virtue of an example. So let us say, for example, you are giving a recommendation letter. We are not even talking about criterias here at this moment, but we are going into a very specific critical role criteria. If you are talking about, let's say, critical role, and you are getting 7 letters, 8 letters, or whatever letters, number of letters, but if they are not authentic, credible, and do not have a probative value, it is not going to be useful for you. So even if you get 2 letters, but they deem to be authentic, they have a credibility, the locus of the person who is signing is trustworthy and independent, self-praise carries no weight, recognition from peers, expert, and institution does. This is important actually here, that who is talking about it, who is the letter, is it your manager, immediate manager, is it on a letterhead, is it on a plain piece of paper, what are the metrics for success that have been defined? Those are the kind of ways in which this happens actually here. Okay. Now, I think this is the main crux of today's discussion, that how do you choose the criteria? The first is, depending on your field of expertise, you need to choose it actually. It is not based on as we said before, a disjointed, evidences spread all across. It should not be from that perspective. So first is the field fit. Second is the evidence strength. When we talk about it, as I mentioned, that there needs to be defined quality over quantity is a must when it comes to evidence standards. Recognition signal. So when we talk about, let us say, media, what is the recognition signal that you have here? If you have any papers, what is the quality of the paper that we are talking about? If you have citations, what is the quality of each of the citations that what we had? For example, we have had one of the students whose work was cited by somebody in Nature. He had only 5 to 6 citations, but that was deemed to be very good for his field of expertise actually, rather than going by a large number of citations actually. That does not make any impact. Narrative cohesion. I mean, how is the story building up? What is the storytelling all about? And then what is the final merit impact? So you have to look at each criteria, give weight to each one of these 5 parameters, and then decide, okay, fine, this is the criteria I want to go or I don't want to go. Now, the first filter is, this is what we are talking about. The first filter is, does it belong to your field? Does this evidence prove distinction in the same field that you are claiming? For example, We actually, I had some question in one of the Saturday weekly sessions we used to do before that. Oh, there was a particular person in science, but she used to be a very eminent dancer also, actually. Okay. And then whether a dance certification is going to help for her? Absolutely not. So you need to use the evidences in the same field where you are claiming. If you are claiming for dance, then it might be useful. But if you are claiming for sciences, the dance would not make any impact. It was for dance, the judging. I think she had done some judging in the dance competition. Even that would not stand true when it comes to the merit of this. Evidence strength. This is the most important. Opinion is weak, proof is strong. Strong evidence needs to be very specific, documented, externally validated, and tied to the field impact. Please understand this. I think we already said it. A major impact in the company. The strongest, my system was adopted across 4 business units, drove 12 million or 20 million or 10 million or 6 million in measurable saving, and is referred in 2 industry white papers and giving the copies of those white papers. This is the most important thing that you need to do actually here. Now, recognition signal. Did anyone beyond your employer or manager notice your work? I think this is the most important thing. It has to be, the impact has to be felt outside the organization, what we are talking about. EB1A is about achievement that has been recognized, not just achievement itself. My manager says, now how does it work here? There are 3 or 4 parameters. There are weakest would be my manager says I'm excellent. Internal company award should be okay. Next is strong is recognition from peers, independent experts, and industry institutions. If you have got some award because of that, and adoption, validation, and influence beyond the company or organization is the strongest. Now, this is about a narrative cohesion. You cannot have, each of the critical roles or criterias in isolation as a discrete units by themselves. Actually, they are not independent sectors. There needs to be a common story building that because of critical role you were invited for a judging activity. Your recommendation letters talk about some of the things that you have done either about judging or critical role and original contribution. There needs to be a collective. I mean, this is just an illustration here, but there would be far more number of criteria that would be referred here in this case. Now comes a final merit impact. This is another filter that does it move the officer's belief. The most important, because you may fulfill the criteria. I mentioned before that I have seen people with even 8 criteria getting approved and still getting rejected. The final merit impact, does it move the officer's belief? The most important question is the one aspirants never ask. Even if the boxes are checked, does this record actually demonstrate extraordinary ability? And when I said that what you demonstrate extraordinary ability, that you are in the top of your field of expertise. The US will benefit out of your presence, and you will continue in the field, in your field of expertise. And does it move the officer's belief? Now, these are the criterias which I think many people keep asking me actually that, okay, fine, this is the criteria, that which are the criteria which the aspirants go wrong, and why they go wrong actually. Okay. High salary, the media coverage, award, and memberships. As I mentioned that let's start with membership here. People believe that, I did this membership and it should count. Somebody might have, have a paid membership. It will not work. Actually, the membership has to be elite, has to be judged by somebody equivalent or somebody who is extraordinary in their own field. There should be an assessment process for the membership. And ideally, as a member, you ought to have contributed something much beyond. What is the impact of your, kind of the membership or the most important thing? Any initiative for that matter, what you are presenting there should have been an impact because of the work that you have done. If you can highlight that. Award is the most, because there is a play and pay awards kind of a thing will definitely not work in today's world. I'm not going to take names here of the specific awards, But many awards are not going to work here actually. Evaluated for selectivity, reputation, and field relevance, not just a title or a trophy. I mean, there are certain names, even this sounds similar or akin to the world famous awards, but that is not going to help you at all actually. Okay. Uh, just earning akin to your peers is not sufficient. It must be benchmarked against the right occupation, geography, and the structure, and tied to the extraordinary ability and not the seniority in the organization. This is the most important thing. Just keep it in mind. Now, what is the standard? What do you mean by weak evidence and what do you mean by strong evidence? Here, my manager says that I am excellent. I led an important project written on LinkedIn and Medium. Now, would this be sufficient? Absolutely not. So there has to be a kind of a narrative which is given on the right hand side here, which has strong evidence about independent expert, the project about quantification. If you see, there is a qualitative impact and a quantitative impact which has been narrated here. And anything that has been written which does not have an editorial review would not be considered to be on a medium or a peer reviewed for that matter, or any assessment or editorial review is a must here. Okay. 19th. Now, these are the 4 types of aspirants what we have seen. There are researchers, the founders, the operators, and the hybrid. The researchers are normally what we have seen are people who would rely on publications, citations, peer review. They would be people from the field of sciences here. The operators would be on essentially the corporate profiles. The founders would be more of an entrepreneurs, and there would be some people whose job, maybe a product manager or a couple of other folks who own. There is a kind of an ownership that also may exist actually about a particular work or a particular product. Now, what is the biggest challenge that why people are not able to choose their criteria alone? Because here, that is why reason you may need a support from somebody else or some mentoring in these cases, because you are too close to your own career. Our vision becomes myopic in this particular case. Profile building is reactive then in that case, not a very strategic, or not a very as a piece of strategy, as a piece of design. It becomes very reactive. Oh, I need to do this. Somebody is doing this, so let me do this. It's like investment. Profile building is like making an investment for a long-term basis. Actually, it cannot be very sporadic or something that is happening in a very ad hoc manner or a very unstructured manner. And what EB1A readiness looks like, you don't know. So it's always good to take a support. And this is a way how we want to tell you that how Next League program helps here actually is define your your true field of endeavor, which is the most important thing. Identify the criteria that naturally fit your profile based on whatever we have just told you right now. Prioritize weak claims that hurt the story. You need to get away from it, get away from the myth, however attached you might be with reference to that actually, and build the missing evidence you actually need, and strengthen the final merit argument before filing. These are the ways how the Next League program typically helps its aspirants and all its students. Okay, now this is what are the different types of transactional building processes that happen here. Send me what you have. Stitch evidence into criteria. Hope the officer sees what you see, leaving the strategy to chance. This is not going to work. And I think when it comes to EB1A, you need to build up a profile based on what is required to be done. It has to be, as I mentioned to you, a very strategic approach, not a very ad hoc or very unstructured approach. Now, this particular program is for who actually? It's if you have real achievements and you want, or for that matter, even EB1A for that matter. You have real achievements and you want them positioned correctly. Your career has substance. You are coachable. You are tired of guessing which criteria to pursue. You want to add credible profile, and you want to move to the next stage in a very serious manner. This program is not for you, or this EB1A should not be if you're looking for shortcuts. You expect a guarantee. You want to force the criteria onto a very fragile profile. You want someone to invent achievements for you, or this is not a done for you service. And you want to make your normal, regular career sound extraordinary. This will not work actually. It will amount to a large extent, this amounts to fabrication of evidences, a fabrication of your profile. One cannot cook up that actually here. Uh, any common questions that we get in what if I'm not ready yet? Well, some are ready to file, some need 6 months, some need 12 months. The goal is to identify the gap, not to guess. And then we have a very, very, if I may use the word, rational and scientific process to help you for this particular process actually. What if my now another question that happens is that what if my work is confidential? So how do we work based on the retracted evidence, public proxies, expert opinions, third party validation, and adoption metric that can show significance without violating the confidentiality? This is the most important thing. What if I have no publications? Now it all starts with the fact that, oh, I don't have any publications. So whether your work really needs publications is the first question actually. And what I have already have an attorney. Do I have to work with the next league as a law firm in that particular case? Because as I mentioned that we are also a law firm with reference to, because of the ABS license that I mentioned to you earlier also. So you can work with your own attorney also. That's absolutely fine. Now, if you want to kind of connect yourself with the next league program, so you can book a discovery session with us here. That's how it will be, kind of a communicated. So once you kind of connect yourself, just a second. Let me show you here. When you want to book the program, for the program, you need to go down here, go through the videos, watch these 2 videos positively without fail. Study this landing page. Nextleagueprogram.com is the website. And you have to click to here to, you can book a time here. And when you book a time, your session gets confirmed. And watch this first before landing up on the page where we would give you a proper guidance when it comes to your EB1A. This is a session with Mr. Thomas Michel. This is a brochure. There are a lot of FAQs that we have here. You may like to watch them. And if there are any questions, we will take it. We have success stories. There are a lot of success stories here. You can have a look at it. So that's all we have here at the moment. Now, I think we have here Paramita here. Paramita, do you have any questions? You can unmute yourself and just speak up.
I don't have any question, but as you are mentioning, like whether we are fitting for this, so I I need to like go through the documents or the call again with the recording, and I myself has to identify like how it like everyone thinks like I'm doing the best, right? So I need to also identify like what I am doing exactly. I don't want to go like 1 or 2 months and then I identify that no, this is not going to happen, but I really want to do that. And I'm working on the AI space, AI agentic space, so I always thinking like, oh, this is a great work. But yeah, definitely according to the conversations and the documents and this stuff, I myself has to identify like how I can present the work in a stronger way, and then maybe I can. But definitely, I'm interested in this thing. But I don't want to again want to present an ordinary work as an extraordinary. So I need to identify points for myself that what I am doing, how it is beneficial to, and then I'll get back to you.
Definitely, you're always welcome to reach out. My team will be there to help you out.
Yeah.
Prima facie, how do you like the presentation?
Sorry.
How did you find the presentation today?
Yeah, I liked it. Actually, this clears many questions because always the first slide clears many things because always we think like EB1A is for the academician and like professional who has like award or patents or publications. And I come from definitely an IT background. And so I don't have any publications, anything. I'm completely IT, like not from a research background also. And
Okay, good
so
to know.
definitely it clears that we can think of it. But I one question I have, like, yeah, we my husband has a EB2 running.
Okay, that's a
Like,
priority date, EB2. What is the priority date for
the
that?
priority date is 2016, either May or June.
Okay. So if it means that if he applies for EB1A and if his petition were to get approved, he can actually right now file for EB1A. If he were to join the program, or you cannot port your husband date onto your petition, but if he does it, he can kind of, I mean, for the short of word, instantaneously get adjustment of status can be filed concurrently, or concurrently get his EB1A green card also approved.
If he approves, if he get the approval of EB1A, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that
And
time can, yeah.
also, like, if because he is uh, like, if we consider the, I don't know, like many other EB1A what their background was, like
Mhm.
if they are in IT. But I am on H4 EAD currently with his dependent visa, but
Yes.
I am working in a AI agentic space. Like, we are building some AI agents, and which
Mhm.
will work as a next level of employee. The agents will work as a next level of employee, but I myself is not a developer. I am working on the business development and the revenue side. So if we go through my profile, like, is it possible for me to apply EB1A, or as I am on EAD I cannot do that?
No, 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 no. You can definitely do that actually. And your field looks to me is a very dynamic field and evolving field. You
Yeah.
okay? Let me give you first kind of a background. In our program, 90%, almost, if not 90, at least 70% people have been from technology backgrounds. Okay,
Okay.
okay, they have not been from sciences. In fact, from sciences, out of all our 58 achievers, we had only I think 3 or 4 from the sciences background.
Okay.
Rest all graduate from a technology or allied fields. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
finance, revenue, financial planning, personal finance, accounting. So those kind of treasury. So we had
Okay.
people from field product management and other allied disciplines, and majority of them, as I said, 70% have been at least from technology. Second thing, how many years of experience do you have?
18, 19 years.
Okay, so let me give you one more information. We have had people who were just around 26 to 27 or 30 years old with just 5 to 6 years of experience. They have got EB1A approved actually.
Okay, but maybe they are the developers. As I mentioned, I was a developer. Currently, I'm not a developer. So I am not building the agents. I am
No, that,
working as a director of the revenue part with a startup. Definitely, the work is definitely a next gen work, which is all everybody is talking about AI, and we are building AI agents. But I am not building myself. I am not into the technology side right now.
okay, that's absolutely fine. So you are
Okay.
basically using the acumen of finance in the
Yeah.
discipline of agentic AI and the other disciplines. Is that
And
correct?
I am helping the West Coast small scale business
Mm.
to on AI adoption. Like, if they adapt AI, if they if they have the AI agents for their business, they might freeze their hiring and they can have AI employees for themselves, which is a beneficial around annually 60K benefit for one agent.
Oh,
This
that's
is how
wonderful.
the story is. Yeah.
I think you have a good opportunity. There is some learning that you might like to do. Go through a lot of
Okay.
material that my team can send it to you.
Okay.
Understand. It is not that complex to understand as long as you are willing to learn. I mean, let me tell you
Mm-hmm.
that. And just to give you and this is not a motivation or an inspirational talk, but just if somebody who has been 26, recently a 26-year-old lady got her EB1A approved from the program, and a 30-year-old data scientist got it. And we have also seen somebody who has been a UX designer at the age of 30. People have been getting it, people who have been non-developers. But I think you have a very strong technical soundness actually that could potentially make you very competent. This
Okay.
much I can see right now. Yeah.
Okay, I am in touch with Syria actually. So
Okay.
during the week, I will be in touch with her for other documents and link and stuff to understand myself, like how I can present the technical skills and stuff. And I joined this company very recently, a month ago. But before that, I was into product management and stuff. So overall, 19 years of experience, how I can present everything together. So I'll be in touch with Syria for the next level of documents and discussions. And definitely I'll
Absolutely.
reach out to you too for
All the
anything. Yeah.
best. Wish you all the best and have a
Yeah.
wonderful day. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.